Alright, hello to all my guys, gals, and non-binary pals out there across the electrical ocean. This is Jazzman, and we are back with another game. This time, it's a Sundered Lands mirror match between Julianpic on the right side here, and we have Syrius26 on the left-hand side, currently capping his font with a Canaan Crone, who is going to start escalating something fierce. And on this side, we have a Sandstalker Lord, I believe, is what just stealthed up there. Yes. So Sandstalker Lord, blending into the sandy terrain, hiding himself from ranged attackers, as well as a Sandkip. So a sand deck here, seems to be from Julianpic. And speaking of sand, we also have a Sandstalker Dust Devil here from Syrius. The Sandstalker Dust Devil is looking to be quite a scary champion now. 70 Nora for Whirl of Blades, which was removed, quote-unquote, from the game, as well as Sand Striker and Trail Sand, so a little bit of self-synergy there with the Sandy Dandy. And also unequipable, probably for the best, but we'll see how he does. If this is indeed a sand deck from Julianpic, Sandstalker Dust Devil is going to potentially benefit from that. And there's the Sandstalker Lord, so he's going to reveal himself there, getting buffed by the Sirocco from Farcrag's Sandkip. So he does have a bit of protection here from the Crone. And Sandstalker Lord is really difficult to bring down once there's enough champions on sand. He gets the defense buff from that, he gets Sundered Lands buff, he gets, stuff like this. And I usually prefer Desert Camo, just because you're not really guaranteed to, get your own desert front active at all times. Because on turns like this, for example, where Julianpic had to move off of his own desert front to get, to move his champion forward, he actually lost the hidden buff because he was not on sand at the end of his turn. Whereas desert camouflage would still work because he generates the sand around him. So Sandstalker Lord taking about half his HP, regenerating some of that from these attacks. Meanwhile, Syrius deploys Valdak, and actually Sandstalker Lord running immediately towards that Valdak and dropping a fault marker in that font. I'm so glad that that the game is turning out to be somewhat aggressive already. Usually this map can go one of two ways. It can either go like this, where one player just rushes the font or maybe even the shrine early on, and there's a lot of, infighting, a lot of action. Or it could be the complete opposite, where it's just a giant turtle fest, similar to Shores, where another side wants to engage. And if you've memorized and watched every episode of The Simpsons, which, come on, of course you have, then you'd remember that one episode where Homer is a boxer and, Moe is telling him, you're a really terrible puncher. So what you're going to do is you're going to stand there and you're going to take all the hits and until the opponent just exhausts themselves and collapses, and then you win. And that's basically what I think of when I think of games on Shores or this map, is both sides one side just staring at each other. And they're staring each other down for 50 turns, and then one side either disconnects or has enough, and then the game's over. So, but this time, we have the complete opposite. So we have Sandstalker Lord taking more beats, not actually very much damage from that Dust Devil. And this is sort of the danger, like Sandstalker Lord on sand, Desert Master giving him a defense buff from all of these champions. It's one defense and one damage for every 3 champions. Seems like it would be hard to stack up, but when you've got a full field of champions on like a small map like this, it's actually really easy. So Sandstalker Lord currently awestruck by the cackle of Canaan Crone. And that was actually a recent change in the newly released Underdepths and or Split Faction buff patches. And also now supporting Drain 2 on upgrades instead of Escalation. I believe they're on they used to be on the same line. Maybe I'm completely wrong, I'm sure. But we've got Farcrag tunneling in here, wanting desperately to be part of that fight, and I'm thinking he's gonna chase down. Okay, so he chases down the Valdak. I probably would have chased down the Crone, since you don't want that escalation to be stacking up. You want to get rid of that ASAP. Could have also gotten hit with Judge. Onto the Crone as well. But also deploys a Varu Dragon, and Varu Dragon is probably one of the champions in Centered Lands I like the most. I really liked his old build where he could get Sonic Roar and Sand Spray for like, I believe it was 76 Nora. But now he's actually, I guess you could say he's better. I mean, he has Vul Magic now, but his base stats got a buff, particularly in the HP department. And he's also got Multi 2 now, so he can really dish out some good damage if you take Sand Striker. And of course, he also has Dragonflight because of naturally, any dragon that is that has wings, of course, has access to Dragonflight, because why wouldn't it? But I think the smart thing to do for Syrius here would be to eat the defensive strike with the Dust Devil, moving into that and having Dust Devil dodge thanks to the Zephyr Shield. But Dust Devil going to be hard pressed to have to deal with that Sandstalker Lord there. He's not really doing much, but one more whirl and he will be in tornado range, or tornado kill range. Potentially Acid Storm as well, Firestorm, any kind of storm that the Sundered Lands can conjure. Actually, Unstable Power Source taking out that relic of Julianpic. So now Homunculus can come in. I don't really see him getting any more damage than he is. Getting 1 damage onto that Sandstalker Lord. Oof. And Valdak could also get a hit as well, but again, he's not going to be dealing much. Has 10. He has 4 defense plus 6, or plus 2 from the Sundered Lands reduction. So that's 6 total. And Valdak wisely deciding to simply disengage and move as far away from these guys as possible, not wanting to get punished by the Judge Torian's Punish ability. Then Hunchback moving into grapple with that Judge Torian, sporting Tough 2 and Rebuke upgrades. Pretty good. So Syrius regains control of his font there. Of course, Sandstalker Lord can just, walk into it if he wants. As well as the Sandkip, who's now also in contest range. And these ranged champions are not going to be having a good time versus the onrushing melee. We've got a tornado here from Julianpic. Is he thinking about killing Valdak? He could probably do it. He has 12, 13 from Judge, well, 11. 11 from Judge with the Sundered Lands bonus. And then Sandkip coming in for the finishing hit, right? Yep, there he goes. And pop goes the Valdak after Sandkip lands the final hit. Burning Sandspout taking it out. Not quite get. I mean, he could still get the globe if he wanted to. I mean, I'd just grab the globe, because why not? I mean, you wouldn't really be in any danger if you did grab it, since all that's left is a Spark Crone down here. But instead, he just decides to give everyone reflexes in evasive 3 or evasive 1 instead. So keeping that Sandstalker Lord alive for as long as possible, as Varu Dragon makes his approach. And I wouldn't say Syrius is out of it just yet. I mean, Sandstalker Lord is low, so if he can get like any kind of spell, grab these 2 Gnora globes, and kill it with Dust Devil or Crone or whatever, then he could be in a decent position still. But I mean, the Julianpic's champion so far forward, like up in his face, he's going to be basically playing defensive all game at his font. So he deploys a Ravager or an Execute. Hey, there you go. So Ravager coming in with Initiative 2, giving a little Execute kill onto that Sandstalker Lord. And Crone sapping the life force of that Homunculus that Valdak left behind, and healing herself a bit. So now it's still it's a fairly even game, I would say, despite Syrius's font being contested. And see, this is the problem on this map. If you do decide to run in, you're sort of in this position where your own champions take so long to actually get into the fight, whereas your opponent's champions are literally right there. Like they can deploy and be right in the fight immediately, whereas your own champions have to run forward and, waste time and AP on doing that rather than, actually fighting. And so by the time this Varu Dragon gets into the fight, this Judge Torian is going to be screwed, and all he'll have left is the Sandkip. So I would say Syrius is sort of in a really good position here. I think if he lost the Crone early instead of the Valdak, he would be in a slightly worse one. But the fact that the Crone is still alive, regenerating, escalating, puts Syrius in a decent place right now. The Varu Dragon doing his best to assist with the Sand Spray, reducing everyone's damage. And Sand Spray is such an annoying ability from Sundered Lands. I hate getting hit with this thing. Not only does it do the damage in the AoE at like really good range, but it also decreases your own damage. And Sundered Lands champions are naturally a lot more tanky with their, their faction bonus and their regen and stuff they can put out. So it's a really nice, powerful utility tool that Sundered Lands has access to. And I really do think sand decks are going to be a force to be reckoned with in the upcoming weeks. So we've got Sandkip taking out that baby, basically all he could do at this point. And then we also have Imperator coming down. More spray, more bomb, more artillery from the back line. But Syrius definitely managing to hold off this aggressive advance as best he can. Dust Devil going to move in and take out that Judge Taurine with the help of a Phalanx Marker. Interesting. So putting that down for Battlemaster, giving him probably just enough, right? Should do, yep, 9 damage there, grabbing the globe. See, Zephyr Shield is really strong. Like, even if you can keep up 1 stack, like it stacks up to 3 times, but you really don't need that many stacks. Like, even just 1, like, to dodge a hit every turn. It's basically like no condo at that point, so... Except you don't actually have to move to get it up, which makes it worse for sure. But in Sundered Lands, where your champions are naturally really tanky, it just adds so much of nice extra layer of defense there. So there goes the power source, draining a bit of Shrine HP for some Nora. Good at this point, and actually the magic attack dealing a bit more damage to Varu Dragon than Julian was perhaps expecting. And yep, that Varu Dragon actually down quite a bit of HP already just because of that. So in comes the Imperator, and he's going to get a bomb. Or a spray. True. Which does get around the Zephyr Shield. One of the best counters you could probably field to a champ like Dust Devil, who has Zephyr Shield. Meanwhile, Ravager up top haggling with this Sandkip, who I feel like will not do so well against Ravager. Ravager is really nice in 1v1s where he can just leap around, chase you down, and execute. On top of being, 7 speed. He's pretty fast and pretty good now. I think there was some talk of him actually getting nerfs on the Discord. Join the Poxnora Discord, by the way, if you haven't already. There's a link down in the description of all these videos. You can get deck building advice, gameplay tips, and so much more from the community of helpful, wonderful veterans that have loyally stayed with this game for many years. So, shameless plug aside, we have the Varu Dragon about to bite the Zidusto to this Hunchback. That was, what am I thinking? That was Julianpic's Enslave, so I don't... What exactly is he planning with that? I have no idea why he cast that Enslave. That seems kind of random. Was he thinking Rebuke would trigger? But Rebuke doesn't affect yourself, so... Yeah, I have no idea what could possibly have brought that on. Just sort of wasted 35 Nora there for nothing. So he attacks the Ravager once, and then tunnels away. Yeah, Rebuke. See, Rebuke, if you hover over it, it doesn't actually show the icon underneath the Hunchback, which would let you know that the ability affects the champion itself. So he was probably thinking Rebuke would trigger off of Enslave there, which it did not. I'm thinking if maybe he cast it onto the Dust Devil, it might have, but even then, deploy order might have screwed him. So Syrius deploying a Sentry. Nice and cheap utility with detection and illuminate and stuff. And like at this point, that's really all you need is more bodies. Like if you can out-deploy your opponent when you're font down, I mean, you're sitting pretty. Like you got nothing to worry about there. Hunchback actually could maybe even contest now, thanks to that Enslave of Julianpic's. If he contests with a Relic, it's probably over for Julianpic, I would think. But instead he goes in to get a double hit onto the Imperator. Also fine. I'm assuming Imperator will Acid Bomb, but if he does that, I mean, he's no way to escape. He'd be trapped. His disengagement costs 4 AP. So there's the bomb, and a second Imperator following him out. I think the better play would have been the short-lived Skywing, or maybe the Acid Craw with reinforcement. Just to try and eat through that Zephyr Shield, But instead, he's going to deploy the second Imperator after the Acid Bomb, and then do a little spray onto the Ravager. But even then, the Crone is there to get another hit, and there's another Enslave. What is going on here? So there's a second Enslave, this time cast by Syrius, onto that Skywing Imperator, that newly deployed one. So actually, he does that to waste the spray and the Acid Bomb on this Imperator. So this Imperator doesn't have any abilities to use now. He might not get the kill through that, but, well, actually he will, I think. Because he has 2 more hits. With, he's going to be so close, but I'm pretty sure Scoured will finish it off. Yep. 1 HP, he'll die to Scoured. Very nice. So that is the correct usage of Enslave. Not whatever Julianpic was thinking. So we've got Ravager and the Crone reclaiming Sirius's top font. Actually, not quite yet. Sandkip has one more good turn in him before he bites the sand. Not the dust, the sand. And then we've got Dust Devil still living, staying alive. And then Imperator grabbing the globe, but it's not really going to matter too much. Julianpic is currently very outnumbered and very outmatched as well. And now that Crone is back to full HP thanks to the benefit of the Sundered Lands Shrine Zone, and escalating quite nicely up to 17 damage. So going offensive, let this be a lesson to anyone who decides to go offensive on this map. If your deck can't follow up to the initial pressure, and basically if the opponent doesn't immediately fold to the initial pressure, you're going to be, the longer the fight goes on, the worse off it will get for you, just because the Nora deficit isn't enough to overcome the positional deficit that your champions will face in having to get to the fight. And a lot of times you'll end up losing more champions than you otherwise would if you just sat back. That's sort of why I think people kind of hate this map, is because no matter what you do, whether you go aggressive or not, if you don't go right for the shrine, you're kind of screwed either way. Depending on the matchup, of course. Decks can sort of make a difference. If you're playing constructs or something that can build up, you're obviously in a better position if you sit back than you would be if you were going to go aggressive. But yeah, there's really no good way to play this map. It just sort of it sucks all around. So Burning Sands there, going down for Syrius, allowing him to pick up the kill on that Imperator, gathering the globe, and actually that Rebuke doing a bit of work here for Syrius, striking these Skywings for some damage when they get deployed. And there's a Tornado finally getting rid of the Dust Devil. After 3 spells to try and get rid of that Dust Devil, it's finally going down. So he takes care of it, but I mean, his font is again in contest range, and now with Syrius advancing and Julianpic currently not only outnumbered, but also the Neo Drake won't be able to get back to the font in time to respond to that contest, and actually Syrius taking the game there. So very nicely played by both people, and we'll see you all in the next one.